Hello, everyone. This is MMA Interesting Prospects podcast. Today, our guest is Damon Jackson, who will fight on Fury FC 119 May 17th. Hello, Damon. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good. And in a short time, you will fight for the Fury FC title against Carlos Calderon. And if you can tell me, because it was another fight, but in the end, the opponent pulled out, and you took this fight. And when did you find out about this opportunity?
So Ricky Romo is actually my student, and he's been in my gym for years, like over 10 years now. So basically, he had been training. He was doing great, like looking great, and then he ended up getting a lung infection, and we had to miss a week of training, and so we decided that it wasn't the best bet for him to do it. But I've been training. I've been training every day since I, stopped fighting. I've never stopped. And I'm in great shape right now. So I was like, I talked to the UFC, and basically they said that I've been out too long, so that I needed to have at least one fight before they could bring me back. So that's kind of my game plan with it. Is that I was, obviously I've been training, but I wasn't prepared for the fight. Like I wasn't thinking about fighting outside the UFC. And then whenever the opportunity came up, I told them about it, and they said, take the fight, and we'll see where we go from there. So.
Yes, and actually, your opponent is a really good one. He fought in the Contender Series, so definitely this fight could be on the UFC card. No problem.
Yeah, yeah, he's solid, man. He's definitely a tough kid. It's not like I'm walking into an easy matchup, and I'm well aware of that. I know his style, and I've seen him fight, and he's definitely got a lot of talent, and it's going to be a scrap for sure. It's not like I said, it's not a cakewalk. It's definitely a tough fight. So.
And last time you fought, it was a UFC 309. And since that moment, did you have any other competition grappling wise?
I did a few tournaments, but like nothing of like nothing of relevance. It was just a couple of like local stuff things. But really, I've just been focused on my gym. Like this is my gym, and I've been here, nonstop getting this built up. And then my girls are always competing and doing something, so I'm always with them and stuff. So really just focused on business and my daughters, and that's really about all I've done. I've been training every day for people that have fights, in the UFC or outside the UFC. I've been training with them. And like I said, I haven't stopped. Like since I told them I wanted to break, I haven't stopped training. No.
And of course, you had a great career. You fought against who is who in the like UFC on the regional level, with many great fighters. And which of your victories were for you was for you like the biggest one?
Probably the Leonard Garcia fight. It was pretty cool because I was very young, and I had watched him fight when I was kind of training and building my amateur career. So when I got the matchup with him, it was kind of like a little scary. It was kind of like I wasn't sure like what he was going to do and how the fight was going to go. So I loved that fight. That was definitely something, and it made me really happy. It made me realize that I was like able to make it to the UFC.
Yes, and he's got this kind of crazy fights in the UFC. He fought for
Yeah.
the WEC title, so
Yeah.
definitely a big win for you. And I think that also Mirsad Bektic or like Pat Sabatini, it were also like super big wins. And even
Yeah. Yeah.
right now, Pat Sabatini is one of the. Well, I think that he's ranked or close to being ranked, and you beat him
Yeah.
like in
Yeah.
very good fashion.
Yeah, he's a solid opponent. I thought that was going to be a tougher fight than what it was, and luckily I caught him early, and it was I was prepared for a real tough fight for that fight, and I just caught him. It happens in MMA all the time.
And of course, this fight will be in the featherweight division. But in your next fight, let's say it will be in the UFC. Do you think it will be like featherweight or lightweight bout?
Featherweight, my weight's great right now. I've never been this low, and I've really never been in this good a shape, which is very cliche of people to say, but I'm actually in really great shape right now. So I'll say it featherweight.
And from the fighters from the UFC, do you have maybe one, maybe few names in mind that you would like to face even?
I like I'm taking this fight on a 3 week notice for Fury, and it's kind of for me. My mindset's always been whoever, whenever, and I carry that. I'll carry that to the UFC again. I got to go out there and take care of business, and then get back in the UFC would be great. And yeah, whoever they have.
And actually, I think that like a featherweight division right now in the UFC is like super interesting one, and definitely matchmakers can put you against a lot of guys, either like veterans of the sport, maybe young prospects, because I think that in the end you always have this kind of style that you deliver like fireworks, like with your submission, with your striking. So definitely they will not have a problem to much to like book you in a interesting fight.
Yeah, no, I'm always ready, man. Like I said, like whoever, whenever, and I like whatever style. Like I don't care. I'm game to fight whoever.
And of course, you like accomplished a lot in the world of MMA. But do you have any things on your, let's say, like a bucket list from like overall combat sports that you would like to accomplish in next few years?
I have to focus on my tomorrow every day. Like it's like my schedule is so busy, and outside of fighting in the UFC, there's really nothing else that I like that I really care about for like grappling or for even MMA. I probably honestly was never gonna take a fight outside the UFC, and this opportunity just happened, and it was great time to be like. And I talked to the UFC and had word back from them basically saying that I needed a fight. So I just took advantage of this situation, and I'm excited.
And you were like legacy champion, LFA champion, and it can be like a third like most important title on the regional scene.
Yeah, no, Legacy's great, man. They've built up some of the biggest names in the UFC, and Fury's right there with them now. Fury's it's pretty awesome to see, like, because I remember when they came to Dallas the first time, and it wasn't the same show as it is now. So it's cool to see these regional promotions build up like that because they're not at the same level as the UFC, and they're also building up the guys that are young and ready to go. And this guy that I'm facing is younger than me. He's excited, like everybody's excited to see him fight, and he's got an exciting style for sure. So it's a good test for me and for him. So I'm excited about it.
And what give you more fun, like fighting or coaching fighters?
I love them both. They're two separate things. Yeah, I couldn't say which one I love more. One thing I will tell you is like seeing my kids do something big is way cooler than anything I've ever done. So I get excited when I see them like either wrestling or volleyball or like whatever they're doing. Like, I love watching them compete.
And do you think that one of them will be like would be interested in going to MMA?
I mean, yes and no. Like I hope not, but at the same time, like they're with me all the time, and they do wrestle, and they do have skill. Their mom was athletic, and I wrestled to college, and so they're all athletes, and they could definitely do it if they wanted to. But it's definitely not an easy life.
And like I mentioned, you fought against who is who, and including Ilia Topuria. And after that fight, did you think that he can be like a double champion, a world class fighter? Did you?
Yeah. No, I didn't really think a whole lot about it. I thought it was gonna be more of a grappling fight whenever I got matched up with him, and then it turned into being, he's just a great striker, great boxer, and he's done some amazing things. But no, I didn't really know who he was before we fought.
And I checked that you made your amateur debut in 2009, so it was like a long time ago. And at
Yeah.
that point, did you think that your career will be like super long, so like 17 years, or was it like more one and done, just to see what's
No,
gonna?
no. That's the only reason I went to college was so I could get more wrestling and just so I could be better in the UFC. That was my goal from the beginning was always UFC and fighting. That was why I wrestled.
And how old were you when you started training BJJ? Because actually in your fights, it's obvious that you're like super high level grappler.
Yeah, I started doing jiu-jitsu like 2000, 2005, somewhere in there. So started doing jiu-jitsu then, and then started doing some striking a little bit, and then I had my first amateur fight in 2009. So just when I was in high school, there wasn't really opportunities to fight amateur. It was all pro in the area. So
And also about like your grappling, do you have maybe like one technique, one submission that you would like to win your fight with?
I always love getting a choke. I love getting choked. So whether it's a head and arm choke, rear naked choke, or darts or anaconda, like whatever, I love chokes. So it's definitely something that I work a lot of.
Okay, Damon. So many thanks for the time and for conversation. I hope that you will win your next fight and you will be back in the UFC because I think that it's like no question that your place is there.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, thank you.